So what we learned yesterday was to find the slope of the line given either 2 points or given a graph, and then we had to go rise over run to find that value. What we are going to do today, we're going to plot these linear functions. So we're going to have a linear equation, and then we're going to have to graph it. The question is, how can we graph it? Okay? What do we do to graph it? So there is different ways where you can graph a linear function. One of the ways is to make a table of values. Okay? So how do I make a table of values? To make a table of values, first of all, you are going to, so this is your equation, y equals x5. You're going to have to set up a table with the x values on the left, and then you're going to write your equation in the middle, and then at the end is going to be your point. Remember that to graph you need a point. You need an x and a y value. Okay? So these x values are values that you usually pick or they're given to you. Okay? In this case, they gave you the x values. So it told you x is -1, or x is 0, x is 1, x is 2. So they've given you the x values that you need to plug in. Okay? So let's do this. Remember that x value is going to replace x in the equation. So I would write y equals to, I replace x with -1, and then plus 5. So what's -1 plus 5? 4, right? So when x is -1, my y is 4. Because you owe me $1, you paid me 5, right? So now it's extra $4.
What I'm saying is, why is it plus 5?
Why is it plus? Oh, because I made a mistake. Good catch. So what should it be? -1?
-5.
Minus 5. That's right, which gives you -6. Thank you for catching that. So that's -1 and -6. Good. Now I have to do the same thing, but with replacing x with a 0. Okay? So it's going to be 0 minus 5, which is -5. And my point is going to be 0, -5. Are we okay with this? What do I replace x with for the next one?
Next one.
What's the x value?
1.
1. So it's going to be y equals 1
-10, -5.
minus 5.
Minus 5, yeah.
So it's going to be,
-4.
and my point is going to be 1 comma -4. And my last one is going to be replacing x with a 2. So 2 minus 5 is -3. And my point is going to be 2, -3. So now I found my points. I have to put them on the graph. Okay? So, -1, -6. Where do I start? I start at the -1 on the x-axis,
Go down.
and I go down 6. So my point is right here, because it's -1 on the x and -6 on the y. So that's my first point. My next point is going to be 0, so I go to the 0, and I go down 5. Then I'm going to go 1 on the x, and I'm going to go down to the -4. You see that your points should form a straight line, because remember, this is an equation of a line. Then I'm going to go to 2, and it's going to go to -3. So you see, if I join these, they're going to form a line. Now here's the trick. When you join these, don't just join the points, extend your line, because that line is going to be continuous. It's going to run all the way. Okay? And this is where we're going to put arrows on both ends. That means my line is going to keep going more and more.
I didn't bring my phone. Do you have a calculator?
Now let me just fix that line because it doesn't look straight at all. So this is as much as I can. Actually. So this is how your line should look like. Here. Now, is the point 50 on the line? Is the point 50 on that line that you just drew?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
0 and going down straight to 5.
It's 5, 0. So where do I start? 5.
And then 0 this way, horizontal.
So I don't go anywhere, right? So it's right here.
Oh, okay.
Is this point on the line? Yes, it is. Now, if you look previously, when I drew my line, it wasn't actually, right? Because my line wasn't going through all the points properly. How can I test this? What do I do to test this? I put. So my coordinates are on the line, right? But let's say if my line was not centered properly, how can I tell from the equation? How can I tell that this point is actually plug in, right? So if I plug in 5 for x, what am I gonna get? 0. I'm gonna get 0. So this is where I test it. Okay? So let's see. If I plug in y equals 5, so I'm gonna plug in for x. I'm going to plug in 5 minus 5. What's 5 minus 5? 5 minus 5.
Oh, 0.
0, right? Is this value matching the y value? Yes, that means my point is on the line. Okay, so let's try the next one together. What values of x did they give you? So they gave you -1, 0, 1, and 2. So you're going to plug them in for x. So y equals 2. Instead of x, I'm going to replace it with -1 plus 4. Can someone read this for me? So y equals to what?
-3 multiplied -1, so that'll be +3 plus 1.
That's exactly correct. So you have -3 multiplied by -1. That gives you +3. And then you're adding 4. So what does that give you? 7. So my point here is -1, 7.
Oh,
Yeah? Because your x value is -1. What would I do for the second one? So y equals
-3 times 0.
Plus 4. What's -3 times 0?
0, 3. 0.
Add 4. So that's 4. So my point is 0, 4. Then my next one is going to be -3 times 1 plus 4. What's -3 times 1? -3 plus 4?
Positive 1.
Yeah. So the answer is going to be 1, 1. 1 for the x, 1 for the y. And then negative 3 times 2 plus 4. So that's negative 6 add 4 is negative 2. What? Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6.
Yeah.
Add 4. You owe me 6.
Oh.
You gave me 4.
Okay.
All right. Negative 1, 7. The 7 is a little bit off my graph, but I'm going to still try to locate it. So it's going to be about here. Negative 1 on the x. Go up 7. My second point is 0, 4. So where do I start?
Write the answer for the 2 still.
It's negative. Where do I start for the second point?
Negative 1 and then going up to 7.
Yeah, so I got that. How about the second point?
0 going up 4.
Good. So I start at the origin and I go up 4. And then 1,
And 1.
1. So I have to go here. And then 2 and negative 2. Is this line increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing, that's right. See, it's never going to be the best line on that board. I'll try my best. Now the next question is asking you, is the point 10, negative 26 on the line? Can you look at the graph and find that point? No. So what do I have to do? I have to plug it in. I have to do the algebraic work. Okay? So if I plug it in, what do I plug in? So y equals to what? Negative 3 times 10 plus 4. So I'm replacing x with its value, and I'm going to check if the y value is going to be negative 26. If it is, then I know it's on the line. So negative 3 times 10 is negative 30. Add 4 is negative 26. So because these two are matching, right, then it's on the line.
Maya,
Yes?
I need help trying to work this calculator. How do I do a percentage of a number?
Okay, just give me a second, okay? Are you guys okay with this?
How do I do a percentage of a number?
Okay, so the next one is going to be a little bit trickier because it has a fraction. I want you to try it. Try it with a pencil, okay? And then you will take it out.